Today is Tuesday, 25th of August, and I know there's a lot of speculation about the price of Bitcoin, possible next move. So in this video, we are going to analyze the Bitcoin chart and see possible move that might exist or we might experience in the BTC USD chart. However, the reason why I'm very peculiar or let's say concerned about BTC and why it is peculiar is because it's whatever happens in BTC kind of predicts what will happen in the crypto market as a whole. So that's actually why it is important for us to understand what the next move might be. And before we start looking into the technicals, let me explain some basic fundamentals to you, which I'm going to put up to you right now. So let me share my screen with you.
So the first thing we have here is the BTC USD chart, right? And as you can see, this is the BTC USD chart on the 4 hours. But before we start on the 4 hours, let's put it on a monthly candle, because like I always said, the real action and the real message is not in the little time frame, it is in the big time frame. You have to look at the bigger time frame and see what is actually going on there for you to be able to predict the move. Now, first, we've put it on a monthly time frame. Now let's go to our fundamentals, right? So let's begin to check through our fundamentals. Now, as you can see, let's go to the US dollar index and look at some news on the US economy, which is going to show us where to get news on the US economy. So now let's look at this. First things we are having is the fact that there is an ongoing tension between the United States and Iran, right? And you know the way this always happens. Eventually, the tension around them will eventually affect the market. Although for now, the dollar is acting steady against the Iran tension and everything. But let's look at it. So now, first one we have here is the US Treasury yield for dollar still steady. The dollar debasement fears look overstated. Dollar rises after US launches new measures against Iran. Okay, so dollar index stores around 99 as PC inflation and Jackson Hole loom. So the US dollar steadies as US tightens Iran sanctions. US dollar ticks higher as US launches massive economic offense against Iran and all. Now the funny thing is, China is also talking about this and trying to get involved in all of this. There is also an ongoing tension, that is tariff hike between China and US, which is still pending on pending on the upcoming meeting of the US President Donald Trump and the President of China. That is the second factor. The third factor we also have to put into fact is the matter of the US Treasury yield and the Treasury bond. Some economists are actually talking against the measures of the government concerning the Treasury bond, saying it is not going to make sense and all of those. As you can see, the US Treasury is falling. I'm not going to be reading all of this news. Now, what I want you to picture in your mind is not right now. It's not this moment. I want you to think of the next 1 week and what is going to happen. And this is how it's going to get crazy, because this way it happens most times. Before the real action takes place, people would think like it is never going to happen, and by that time, when it does, almost everybody's going to be caught off guard, right? So now the meeting between the US president and Chinese president, or say the China's president, is yet to be concluded and soon to happen. So I wouldn't even place my bet on a proper market forecast until those fundamental factors begins to kick in. Right now, let's now look into the technical measures. So as you can see here now, this is the monthly chart of the US dollar, of the BTC against the US dollar. We are still working on the Elliott wave, but one thing I want you to look is the liquidity zone in this particular chart you are looking at here. So this is the previous high when the market went low. You understand, where we had two top candles and it went low. Now if you look at these two candles and these two candles, they look somewhat alike and almost together. We have this, and the market tapped into liquidity around this current price of the market, that's 79,000. But you won't expect the market to repeat the same thing over and over, just play by the book. No. So there's possibility we have it pushed higher just for people to assume the market is going to blow up and get to this particular zone, which it can, or it might, but I don't think it can just get to this zone easily like that. Because if you look at it, it is not going to really. There are few resistance at these zones before many other things. I'm talking about this particular zone here right now. I'm just putting a line to that. So talking about this particular zone, here's a resistance around this point. Another thing to now also take note is the fact that if you look at this this monthly candle, it looks somewhat like this, and this. What does this remind you? This looks like an head and shoulder, right? So even if I'm not putting this down, or let me just put it like this liquidity zone around here, so it looks somewhat like this. This is the head, this is the shoulder. There's possibility, if at all for no reason, we are going to have something, at least a retracement to this zone. And now let me undo that. Another factor I'm going to consider to base my judgment is is the fact that there is no straight up trend just like that, right? There is no straight up trend that just goes like that. Basically, according to basic technical analysis and technical rule, you understand that for every push up, or let's say leg up or an upward trend in the market, there is always a reversal, and at least or at most a 50% reversal. So now let me take it from this point, because I'm not going to use this week here. I'm going to use this particular point here, which is the actual liquidity zone. This is just a liquidity in this moment. We are still going to go into the smaller time frame for you to understand what I'm talking about. So now let's look at this and let's draw our 50% of this. So now this is the total of this. Now let's put it into half. If you are putting it into half, oh shit, what did I just do? Oh, let me just bring it from here, because the market started going up from here, right? So now we have this. So if we are to bring half of this into measure, we are expecting the markets to come to the zone at least, which is around the 71,000 zone. And now talking about the 71,000 zone, you know what's another sweet thing about this particular zone is, let's go to the liquidity map. Now there is no much liquidity. As you can see, this liquidity map, there is no much liquidity above what the market is currently trading. I can show you, we can go on and on. I will show you the liquidity heat map, I'll show you the liquidity history map and everything. But now look at this. Where can you see proper liquidity? It is all below. And you know what the market does? Like I always say, there is no free money in the market. The money is just always being converted, either money taken from shorts to the bulls, or either money taken from the bulls to the shorts. Either ways, that's just what happens in the market. Look at it from the top here. There is no much liquidity zone at the top. So for me, I still expect something to happen. That is a reversal. You'll come down to sweep the liquidity here from the top here, sweep the liquidity at the zone, then use it to push the market up. And not to even consider that many top guys, or let's say institutional traders or institutions, are saying they are not buying Bitcoin at the moment. And that's one funny thing. They are neither buying or neither selling. And that doesn't mean they won't sell, and that doesn't mean they won't still buy. But if you are to ask yourself the question, who in his right sense is going to sell BTC at this moment? Nobody wants to sell for profit right now. But who would buy if it goes down? The same people. So apparently, if it goes down from here, they would sell. And when it comes down to this zone or something around here, they would do what? They would buy. I just hope you are getting what I'm saying, right? Let me change this from a dot to something more. All right, so to this zone, they're definitely going to buy. Now let's go to smaller time frame. Let's put it on the weekly time frame. I'm going to do this step by step, and I will explain the basis of my argument for you. So now we have it on the weekly time frame, and as you can see, this is the long week. This is the new week we are having. It is that stopped to this zone, and so far since yesterday, it has done what? That's come down to the zone. If you are going to have something that's really going to go up, we would have known since yesterday. And now talking of yesterday, for every week prediction or every week's projection, Monday is very important, because Monday sets the tones for the week. Monday sets the beginning of the trend, or let's say the antecedents for the market. And let's look at what Monday did yesterday, or what happened to Monday in cryptocurrency yesterday. So let's look at Monday yesterday. So this is the daily chart, and as you would see here, this was yesterday, which is Monday. And what happened? The market tried to tap into this liquidity zone and did what? It closed lower. However, today had a longer week overnight. We had a very great push, people struggling to make sure it gets to the zone. And so far, what we have been encountered with, or what we see so far, is also a pull down. That is on the weekly, or on the daily time frame. And now let's zoom in and look at all of this. I believe you are seeing the message here. Look at this particular zone where the market is. This is a proper resistance zone. So for those who believe the market will just go up from here, I'm telling you, be careful, especially if you are trading futures. Be careful, you might get out of the market. As you can see, I'm banking on the retracement. I'm waiting for the retracement to happen before I even start my long. But at the same time, I'm going to make my money from this retracement, because if you are trading short at the moment, you might be in loss, or you must have even been liquidated or taken out of the market. But if you are longing, you still be in profit. But my advice to you is, if you are longing, take out your profit, allow the market to settle before you start taking your next move. Let it settle down. I'm yet to enter this trade. I've seen some people set up their trade setup at 80,000 or so, but I'm not doing that. I'm waiting for this confirmation zone. I'm waiting for this confirmation zone of this liquidity zone, right? I'm looking for confirmation from this liquidity zone. Once it breaks below this particular point, or this liquidity zone, from here, but I'm risking it, I'm entering here. Once it breaks from this particular zone here, and it can break beyond here, bro, you're having a proper retracement. You're having a proper retracement. And this is still valid, and this validates my thesis with the fact that we are currently still or close to the end of the bear market. We are not yet out of the bear market. We are just close to the end of it. I love what is happening here. It is giving us the confirmation that the bottom is near. But the fact that we're out of the bottom, I do not agree with that. Now, let's put it on the 4 hours chart, and then we can begin to see the bigger picture or the smaller picture to see what is really what has been happening in the market. Now, where is the buying power here? There is no buying power. The market is reacting to the resistance. And if you tell me that, okay, yeah, we had somewhat or something like this before, it went up and went lower and went up, yeah, stop kidding yourself. Or you might just be, kidding yourself. You're expecting it to replay what they did here. That is something like this, thing go up. No, because if you look at it from here, there is no proper liquidity to sweep here. Neither is there any proper liquidity to sweep here. It has swept out the liquidity from this one before. And as at this point, that was when I made my prediction to say this is where I'm going to enter the market. As you see, this is my expected plan. And so far, it has been playing according to book. We had the proper resistance here. The market came to this zone. I wish I could bring this thing very closer. Now the market came to this zone right here and reacted. It went up because this was the first retracement it would have. It went up from here, from this zone. It went up, then add another little retracement from this particular point, like it did before. Before coming down. If you look at it, if you wanted to enter a short from here, it came down, went up, then came down, expecting to break down from here. It did it, then went up to just sweep out the liquidity at this zone, at this particular zone, just for it to eventually still come and take out the liquidity from there and will plunge into a short, creating a lower low. This is what BTC has always been doing for every bull market, for every bear market. This is why the bear chart will happen, and that's why I'm not yet active on the trade. I'm waiting for the proper confirmation. I want it to make its proper move, then I know, okay, now we are ready to go down the line. It has come to this place, sweep out the liquidity here, tested the lower resistance to create a lower low, a lower high, and now it is going high. And from this point right now, we are having a retest of this particular zone. If the market was really going to go up, it would have gone from this place, because if we were to draw our line, I'll put it like this, I'll put it like this. So now we've had a lower high here, and now we are having an high. But let's see what happens from this one, and that is why I'm very concerned about what is happening in the markets right now. Anything below this particular zone or this zone, my brother, I'm telling you, my sister, I'm telling you, we might definitely have retracement up to this level. So for me, I'm entering this trade from here just to take proper risk and to reduce my loss, and at the same time be taking my first profit at this 50% zone and next profit at this zone. So kudos and good luck to everybody that is trading. You can also try to confirm this movement with your Fibonacci ratio. Let's see this. Look at all these zones. They are all proper liquidity zone, like we've seen in the liquidity map. Don't say I did not tell you. You can see them here. You have another liquidity zone here. You have and the market is playing according to the book. Now I drew it up to this point here, and this point is a proper liquidity zone. It's coming to test this place, and once it breaks through from here, you go all in. So that is my prediction, and that's what I think about the market. I don't know what you think. I'll be lovely to hear. To be lovely to hear from you. But that is just my own postulation, my own thoughts. That if you are trading long, please take out a profit, and if you want to short, don't enter yet. Wait for the confirmation before you short. I don't know what your thoughts might be, but I'll be willing to hear from you. To be honest, I come here, we stay cool and play big.